What if the person you trust the most is the person most capable of betraying you? And what if the person who openly hates you could become more loyal than your closest friend? It sounds wrong, but there is a hidden mechanism behind it. You naturally trust your friends. When life becomes difficult, you turn toward the people you already know. You know their personalities. You know their history. You believe you know what they think of you. But there is a problem. You may know your friends. Without truly knowing them, friends often hide unpleasant truths from each other. They agree to avoid arguments. They laugh harder at each other's jokes. They praise your ideas. They tell you they love your work. They tell you your music is amazing. Your clothes look great. Your decisions are brilliant. But how much of it is real? Sometimes they mean it. Sometimes they don't. And because friendship depends heavily on keeping the relationship comfortable, you may never discover what they genuinely think. Then something changes. You decide to hire your friend. At first, it seems perfect. You already trust them. You already know them. Why bring in a stranger when someone you care about is right there? But the moment friendship becomes employment, the relationship changes. Suddenly, your kindness has a price. Your friend may begin to wonder, was I chosen because I'm actually capable, or because we're friends? That question can quietly poison the relationship, because people want to believe they deserve what they receive. A favor can feel good at first, but over time it can become uncomfortable. Your friend may feel that you are above them, that you gave them something they did not earn, and resentment rarely arrives loudly. It comes in small pieces, a little more honesty, a strange reaction, a flash of envy, a comment that feels different from before, then another, and slowly, the friendship begins to disappear. You may try to repair it. More favors, more gifts, more opportunities. But strangely, the more you give, the less gratitude you receive. And this reveals something uncomfortable about human behavior. People can become accustomed to benefits until they stop seeing them as gifts. What once made them grateful can eventually feel like something they deserve. That is why friendship can become dangerous when power and work enter the relationship, because now you have two separate things competing with each other: personal feelings and competence. And competence matters more. The person you like most may not be the person who can help you most. History offers an example of this mistake. Michael III had someone close to him who could have guided him correctly and potentially saved his life: Bardas. But proximity is not the same as usefulness. Being your friend does not automatically make someone the right person for the job. Work requires distance. You are trying to accomplish something, not simply make friends. And once friendliness enters the picture, judgment can become clouded. So the question changes, not, who do I like? But, who is actually capable? And then we reach the stranger part of the story. Your enemies, the people you distrust. The people who oppose you. They can become an unexpected resource, because an enemy has something a friend may not have. Something to prove. Look at Talleyrand. When he decided that Napoleon was leading France toward disaster, he knew he needed someone powerful enough to help him oppose the emperor. But who could he trust? Not a friend. He chose Joseph Fouché, his most hated enemy, a man who had even tried to have him assassinated. It sounds insane, but Talleyrand understood something. Their hatred had already removed the illusion. Neither man expected affection from the other. Neither was pretending to be a loyal friend. Their relationship could be built on something much colder: mutual interest. And Fouché had another reason to work. He had something to prove. That made the former enemy potentially more motivated than a comfortable friend. Their conspiracy did not overthrow Napoleon, but their unlikely alliance created influence, attracted attention, and eventually developed into a productive working relationship. And the pattern appears again. Henry Kissinger once became the target of a kidnapping conspiracy involving anti-war activists. Instead of simply treating the people involved as enemies, he privately met with some of them. He spoke with them. He explained his position. He charmed them. And one of those former opponents eventually remained a friend for years. The point was not that enemies suddenly became good people. The point was something deeper. Opposition does not always have to remain opposition. Sometimes the person standing against you can become useful precisely because they understand the other side. But there is another reason enemies matter. They keep you awake. When nobody challenges you, You become comfortable. When nobody questions you, you stop examining yourself. But an enemy is watching, waiting, looking for the weakness you missed. And sometimes, they see something your friends cannot see. There is an old story about King Hiero. One day, an enemy told him something nobody close to him had ever mentioned. His breath smelled terrible. The king returned home and asked his wife why she had never told him. She was genuinely confused. She thought everyone smelled that way. And suddenly, the lesson becomes clear. The people closest to you can become so accustomed to you that they stop noticing what everyone else can see. An enemy has no reason to protect your feelings. And because of that, they may reveal a truth your friends are too comfortable to mention. This is why conflict can sharpen you. An opponent forces you to stay alert, forces you to think, forces you to improve. Without resistance, you can become lazy. And history provides an even larger example. In 1937, Japan invaded China. The conflict interrupted the struggle between Mao Zedong's communists and the nationalists. Some communist leaders believed they should avoid fighting and use the time to recover. Mao saw it differently. He believed that if his forces stopped fighting for years, they would become weak, rusty, unprepared. So instead of seeing the Japanese only as a threat, he saw them as an opponent that could strengthen his army. The Japanese would provide something his forces desperately needed: experience. By the time Japan eventually retreated, Mao's forces had gained valuable combat experience. And that experience helped them in the struggle that followed. Years later, when a Japanese visitor apologized to Mao for the invasion, Mao's response revealed the entire philosophy. Why apologize? Perhaps he should be thankful, because a worthy opponent can make you stronger. But there is a darker side to this idea. Conflict can also create identity. When people know who stands against them, they know what they stand for. Us against them. Our side against theirs. A clearly defined enemy can unite people faster than endless explanations. That is why powerful figures throughout history have sometimes used opposition to sharpen their own position. The enemy becomes a mirror, a target, a source of pressure, a reason to remain alert. But the deeper principle is not simply, enemies are good. It is this: resistance reveals things comfort hides. Your friend may protect your feelings. Your enemy may expose your weakness. Your friend may tell you what you want to hear. Your enemy may tell you what nobody else will. Your friend may become comfortable with your success. Your former enemy may work desperately to prove they deserve your trust. And suddenly, the entire idea of friendship and enemies begins to look different. The person standing beside you is not automatically your strongest ally, and the person standing against you is not automatically your greatest threat. Sometimes, the greatest threat is the person who knows you well enough to envy you, but cares too much about the friendship to admit it. And sometimes, the person who opposes you is the one forcing you to become sharper. Because comfort can hide your weaknesses, but resistance reveals them. That is the hidden mechanism. You do not always become stronger because someone supports you. Sometimes, you become stronger because someone refuses to let you remain comfortable.